What's up, future newlyweds? Nick Faltzine here with Newlyweds TV, here to help you as you plan your wedding. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We release wedding planning content every week. Today you're in for a real treat because we're going to show you step by step on how you can create your very own DIY donut wall for your wedding day. I thought it might be a good idea to ask one of my childhood best friends, Bobby Schneider, a super talented craftsman, to show us how to make your very own DIY donut wall. Bobby and I already picked up all the supplies we needed, so here's the list of items you're going to need to pick up to make your DIY donut wall.
These are most of the tools we're going to use. We've got some that are too big to fit on the table. We've got a circular saw, an 18 gauge brad nailer, 18 volt Milwaukee brushless drill, portable drill press, a 3/8 Forstner bit, tape measure, spray paint, a donut, some dowel rods, and some wood. Aside from the items on the table, we also use a chop saw and we use the CNC. So prior to the build, we sat down and designed the donut wall to the appropriate dimensions, which we determined to be 33.5 wide by 43.5 high. First things first, we're gonna lay out the dimensions. We're gonna draw 2 dots at 32 inches, connect the dots with a line. We're going to draw 2 dots at 42 inches and connect the dots with a line. Now we're actually just going to use this piece of oak as a straight edge, guide the saw so we can have a nice straight cut. We're going to clamp it down 1.5 inches away from the line because that is how far the base plate of the saw is from the saw blade. Here I'm just double checking my measurements, making sure I'm 1.5 inches away from the cut line. Once I'm sure that they're right where I want it to be, we'll make our first cut. Once you're ready, make sure the saw is firmly pressed against the straight edge and make your cut. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to check the dimensions and make sure it's 1.5 inches away from our cut line again. In this case, it's 7.5 inches from the top if we want to make our overall size 42 inches. So we're going to double check our measurements. We're going to clamp down our straight edge. Once a straight edge is firmly clamped in place, to guide the saw along the edge and make your next cut. Next, we're going to lay out our grid for all of our pegs. This donut wall is going to have 36 pegs, all evenly spaced within a 32-inch square. Here I'm marking out each individual line for the grid on the top and the bottom, and I'll do the same on the left and the right, and we'll connect the dots. Stick around till the end of the video where we'll include a finished shot, including all of the dimensions. Once all your dimensions are laid out, take your straight edge and connect the dots to complete your grid. Now we have a finished grid, and at each intersection, that's where a peg will be. Once your grid is all laid out, we're gonna use our portable drill press to ensure that the pegs are nice and straight, and we're gonna drill a 3/8 inch hole at all the intersections.
Hit the like button, you guys, if you're excited about making your own DIY donut wall for your wedding day. Seeing how it's National Donut Day, we thought it would be fun to also share 5 fun facts about donuts, donut walls, and what makes them a great option to have for your wedding. 1. Canada actually has the most donut shops per person, even though we Americans consume the most donuts per year, 10 billion, which is 10 times more than Canada. 2. Donut walls make a perfect dessert bar backdrop and look great in photos. If you're on the fence about your desserts, donuts are a great choice. 3. Donuts were once called oily cakes. I don't know about you, but I'm glad they got a new name because oily cakes does not sound very appetizing to me. 4. Donut offerings are so creative now. You have choices that are fully customizable and special seasonal options so you can pick the best options for your wedding day. 5. Krispy Kreme was the first national donut chain. I would have guessed it was Dunkin' Donuts, and I would have been wrong. Bonus tip, avoid letting any donuts go to waste. Have your planner or caterer package up any leftovers for an after party or next morning treat.
So now let's move to my shop where we use a chop saw to cut the frame for the donut wall. Always make a clean cut before you measure the lengths for your frame. Use a tape measure, mark your dimensions, and make your cuts. So your first cut will be 42 inches and the next cut will be 33.5, and that will be the frame for your donut wall. Now we have to cut all of our dowels for the donuts. I'm taping the 3 dowels together for safety so they don't move around too much. Again, start with a clean edge. Here we're gonna cut all of our dowels to 3.5 inches. We set up a stop block to ensure that they're all the same length. So we have the frame and all of our dowels cut to the correct dimensions. Let's head outside and finish the donut wall. Now we're going to use 18 gauge 1.5" brad nails and some glue to attach the frame. We're going to start on the sides of the frame because the top and the bottom overlap the edges. Spread a thin bead of glue and nail the frame into place. You want to try and keep the nails as close to center as you can so it doesn't split or shoot out. Once you finish attaching one side of the frame, move on and do the same on the other. Once the sides of the frame are securely fastened, move on to the top and the bottom. Spread a thin bead of glue and attach with the nails. Before you attach all your dowel rods, you need to sand both ends. This will ensure no burrs are left behind and all your dowels stay perfectly straight. Add a drop of glue to all the holes and insert all your dowels. Once all the dowels are inserted, tap them with a mallet to ensure a tight fit. And now we move on to our final steps where we paint the donut wall and the donut sign.
And there you go, a beautiful and delicious DIY donut wall for your big day. Handmade by you and ready to be filled with sweet treats for your guests. If you want to know what we recommend you DIY and what you should leave to the pros, then watch the video linked up on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.